Hello. Hey, you guys. Sorry, this is a slow intro. I'm not sure how to do this anymore. It's been a while. Welcome back to JenHannagans. You get me today, and you're going to get a story, and I'm going to show you something very exciting. Over a month ago now, Jen and I filmed a video, and we posted it, and it was an update, and in that video, I told you guys that I would be moving. And then a few days after that video, I filmed a 10-minute long video. And I said, hey, you guys, you want to see something exciting? And then I turned my camera around to show you this. Ignore the bug spray on the window and all that. I'm sitting in front of my new home. No, you're not going to see more than. And I said in that video, guys, this is my new house. Not yet, but it will be. And all these things, right? For 10 minutes. And I said in that video, I explained why we were moving. And I had no idea that a month later, I'd be where I am right now. So I'm not going into the same amount of detail because I went into a lot of detail in that video about why we were moving. But the long and the short of it is, we are moving because my parents and I live together for health reasons, their health. And 2 years ago, if you've been around, you know, my dad had some major health issues, and it kind of highlighted the struggle of where we're living. Where we are living currently is 20 minutes from anywhere. We're not close to friends. Our neighbors are amazing. I love our neighbors. I'm going to miss our neighbors, but we need to be closer to our support system, and my support system and our support system is Jen and her family and our church family. And we were 20 minutes away from them. Now I'm going to be like 3 minutes away from them. Literally, I could walk to their house from my new house in less time than it would take me to drive to their house from my old house, and I walk slow. But let me tell you the saga it's been to get here. So we started looking for a house earlier this year. We put our house on the market. My house went on the market mid-June. We thought we were going to move into a duplex because mom and dad could be on one side, I could be on the other, but it was going to be a real struggle because they were real small and we'd have to downsize a lot. And then that seller wanted way too much money for that. We still have to do work to make it work for mom and dad, and so that fell through. But I knew something was coming, and then this house came up, and let me tell you, when I show you this house, you guys are gonna probably think I'm crazy, but get ready, because if I can get my life together with filming, some fun videos coming up. The house that we are purchasing is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house that is attached through an enclosed walkway into a shed that is quite large and has a bathroom in it. And so I'm going to live in a shed. You'll see the whole house tour later on. I'll probably film it tomorrow, because tomorrow I close on my new house. But anyway, what it took to get here. I had to fix my credit. I started trying to fix my credit before I knew we were buying a house, because I was making plans for something totally different, and that didn't end up happening because God had a different plan. My theme for 2024 has been God's plan, God's time, and it has been a total, complete game of faith. Like, seriously, I've had to practice so much faith this year, because I did not understand, predict. None of this was on my 2024 bingo card. That's what lots of people are saying now, you know, whatever. This was not my plan for this year. My plan was totally different, but God had a different plan. So we found this house. It is a fixer-upper. And when I say it's a fixer-upper, I'm talking it's a ranch-style home that was built in 1976, and it has the original 76 carpet and paneling. The foundation has issues, which somehow we've got to fix. There's so much, but we could get it for a good price. Put us in one of the best neighborhoods in the town that we need to be in, and all the amazing things. So we put in the offer. We do the inspection. We find out about the foundation issues. We reduce the offer. We come to an agreement, and both the seller and us agree, and I get notified by my financing that we're clear, everything's in check. We just gotta wait for the close date, and this is where part of the issue comes in. The house we're buying is in probate. If you don't know what probate is, because I sure didn't, when you pass away, without a will or without like a TOD on things, your property and everything goes into probate, and it becomes the job of the court to make sure that all debts are paid, and that any sale of property is done accordingly, and whatever. It's a whole long process. I didn't know how long of a process, and I was told it was going to be real easy because they had already done most of the process, and they were to a point that the only thing that we would wait on is the judge to sign off on the sale. And so the paperwork goes to the judge to sign off on the probate sale of the property, and it sits there. And we're checking every week and not hearing back, and well, it's just up to when these things come before the judge. It could be 2 weeks. Okay, fine. 2 weeks go by. We have heard nothing. 3 weeks go by. We have heard nothing. It's really starting to stress me out. This is where a big part of the God's plan, God's time has become a part of my life. I didn't understand the delay. Then, in the middle of this, we had figured we were going to close at a certain date, and I had a contractor all lined up to do the work that we would need to, because what has to happen before we can move in, we have to get the flooring redone and the bathroom redone for mom and dad. And then we can move in, and I'll live in the shed, and it's a whole thing. I'll explain all that later. But in the time that we thought we would be closing, Dad had some medical issues again, and we weren't sure what was going on. He was in the hospital for 3-4 days. I don't know. It was a whole nother thing. He's fine. It's just a recurring thing. We've got some follow-up appointments, but he will be fine. We know how to take care of it. We are very blessed because the situation that happened this time was very similar to what happened 2 years ago. And 2 years ago, it resulted in 8 months of him being in the hospital. And this time it only resulted in a couple of days because we recognized the signs. So then I'm like, okay, God's plan, God's time. He knew this was going to happen. We didn't know this was going to happen. Okay, fine. Then there's this whole thing. We really weren't understanding it. It was getting to the end of July and the beginning of August, and the judge still hadn't signed, and we hadn't heard anything. I was really starting to stress. And last Sunday, I think it was last Sunday. One Sunday, my mom stops me as I'm walking out the door and says, I had a dream that, it was a week ago last Sunday, a week and a half ago. Anyway, she said, I had a dream that the judge signed off on the sale of the house, and the papers sat on his desk and didn't get input. And I'm like, in your dream, did it say whether we then had to wait an additional 10 days or whether the days counted from the time he signed off on it? She's like, no, I don't know, but it was just such a weird dream. I'm like, well, I pray that it's true, because at this point, it's going to be the end of August. Well, the next day, on Monday, I get a notification from my realtor. Hey, this was August 5th at this point. She says, hey, the judge signed the paperwork on July 31st. The clerk just hasn't put it in. So the judge had signed off on probate. We had to wait for things to clear the title. But now, tomorrow, probably today when you see this, if you see it on the day that it's posted, I am closing on my house. And we are moving. And I could cry. There's still a lot of things. There's still a lot of things to be done. The foundation is going to cost a lot of money to repair. I still have to sell the property that we currently live at, and it needs to sell for enough for us to pay off some debt, to free up, and then the money from that sale goes to the remodeling of this home. And we don't have a buyer on that yet. But our house sat on the market for a month and a half with no interest, and then in the last 2 weeks we've had 6 showings, and most of those resulted in some kind of offer, but not enough. We still have somebody that's going to look at it. So I'm still holding on to God's plan, God's time. And my mom has added in God's hand. So all of that to say, I am moving. I still don't know exactly when, but I'm getting my house. I will have a mortgage in my name tomorrow. I will have keys. I will film a walkthrough to show you the house where it's at currently, the state it is in. I will talk through the plans if you want to hear our plans for them. If you want remodel content or design content, I am not a designer, but I'm about to design my space from scratch. And if you want to see it, let me know. This move changes everything. And that's not an exaggeration, because I have 3 dogs. I will be living in town. We will fence in the backyard, but they will need to be walked. I am, like I said, walking distance to Jen. And that means that I have my walking buddy, and we don't have to drive 15 minutes to meet somewhere to walk. Everything changes. Everything changes starting tomorrow. And I want to bring you all along. So let me know. What do you want to see? Also, if you have opinions, tell me, what color grays do you like? And what color vanities? And anybody got suggestions on cheap flooring that looks good? Because this is my life for the next however long.